Hello, this is the Houston County Board of Education textbook training for math textbooks that were just adopted from Holt. My name is Cassie Rape. I'm the math coordinator for middle and high school.
And hi, I'm Lakeitha Weston. I am the math middle school and high school math coach.
We're going to be doing this together and talking you through several different things that have to do with your textbooks. So, in these videos, this is what the videos are going to tell you. First of all, you're going to hear about the resources that are available to you this year.
And all of the different things that you can use and to upload, ExamView, register your test, register a student, create a class, just all of your resources that you're going to receive through this adoption.
Notice on the video there are gray boxes. We don't know why that did that. This was done with Smart Tools recording. Ignore them, they're not there intentionally. But here's the resources that are available to you.
Okay. Some of the resources that we have, once again, is primary resource is our SharePoint. One thing you want to make sure is that the first stop is SharePoint, the portal.
That's why it's so big on there. SharePoint. Look there first.
Your Holt is just for an additional supplemental. Please remember that. We also have found there's not a lot of rigor in some of the questions and examples and provided worksheets, so please take that in consideration. Also, we'll provide parents with the resource of the Weebly, in which they can access several things, and we'll discuss that later on.
Okay, notice SharePoint's big. The reason for that is because that's your first stop. Holt is supplementary, and then parent materials. And so that's, I think that there was just a click there. Hold on. Weebly. Weebly is something that you may not be familiar with, but something that definitely you're going to want to become familiar with, and we'll give you those addresses when we get to it. Okay.
Here are a couple of resources that you may not find that you're probably accustomed to, and basically we've kind of marked through those. You may not find, you will not find a hardback teacher edition or student edition this year. Also, remember, we are not in the habit of just following the textbook and starting with chapter 1 and just following it all the way through. So please keep that in mind when you're teaching this year. Once again, remember, we're following SharePoint and the Georgia standards.org.
You're not going to find a consumable workbook in the typical sense. And so a lot of these things that you become accustomed to, guys, you don't need them. You do not need the hardback editions. You don't need a book that you travel from one side to the other and then you're done. Okay? The consumable workbook, it would be nice. Funds were not available to be able to purchase a full-on consumable that will be replenished each and every year, though. So your students will be furnished, each and every one, with a workbook, okay? But it's important to remember, it isn't going to be refreshed. So students can't write in these books. We have talked to teachers. Some teachers are planning on having the students put it in a small binder so that it will be protected and that so that basically you'll be able to reuse it. There will be a site eventually that parents can go to and purchase these books. We're currently haggling over the shipping fee because we feel like it's too much. And so you haven't received that site because we don't want you to have it right yet because the prices are not where we want them to be. So just keep that in mind. We do plan to allow parents the opportunity to purchase, but at this point it's not at a price point that we think is fair. And so so just know that we are working on that and doing everything we can leading up to that. But every student will have a workbook, and it will be allowed to travel with them to and from school if that, as a teacher, is your choice. And the students will not be writing in that workbook unless it belongs to them, unless it's one that they personally purchased.
And also remember, you have my.hrw.com in order to pull down all your resources that are online.
Okay, so where to get the resources? The textbook training in July was the first place, and those who came did receive 6 different items. There was 4 CDs/DVDs and 2 books. One book was just a copy of the student workbook the students will receive, and the other is the answer key to that. Also, they would have received 2 one-stops, one for the teacher, one for the student, and then an exam view, and an Encore math activity generator. So that's the first place.
Also, you're see several resources from the Department of Ed, so our Georgia DOE, and georgiastandards.org, which is also your learning village, and you'll be prompt because you are a state employee. So you'll be prompt to enter in several little information such as your email address and all because you are linked to a system. And once you have logged in, a lot of you already have, you will have access to state tasks and even possible updates. One new thing this year is you will have access to YouTube as well. So that's a yippee yay for our system.
Which is awesome. We want to be careful consumers of information. There's a lot of information out there, though, and so it's really important that before you use YouTube information that you kind of keep in mind the things that you find on SharePoint. Weebly is a place for parents to access and for kids to get help at home when they have no other place to go. When you finish this training, your API will be able to give you the resources, the actual physical resources that you'll receive as soon as you're finished, okay? But again, look, SharePoint, big. Now, here's what's on SharePoint.
We have, on SharePoint, we have state tasks, and those tasks are, as I said, people from over the summer actually created those for our state, so that's awesome. Of course, you're going to find on SharePoint as well the pacing guide, our FALs, which we have discussed, and you even had training on that as well, and of course our unit plans. And throughout the unit plan, you will find a lot of great activities, tasks, question banks that can be utilized with your Holt Online as well this year.
Okay, but the guiding light, which is why this slide has a light in the center of it, is going to be the material found on SharePoint that gives you information about where to take the standards. It gives you a lot of in-depth breakdown about what the standard means, how the standard is to be taught. There are words that we do say and don't say in math anymore. For instance, cross multiplying. No. So just keep that in mind. SharePoint guides.
Okay, what you're going to find here before we go to the Holt Online is the logins for your, actually the ISBN numbers and the key code passwords that you will need once you go to Holt Online.
These are information that you shouldn't share, and you should only get the ISBN number and the grade levels that you need, okay? Notice where it says licenses ordered. The numbers down the middle are the numbers based on the number of teachers that we had teaching particular subjects over the last couple of years. That is it. As soon as that many people in our county using these code words log in and pull down that information for that particular ISBN number, that's gone. So if every single teacher in the entire county registers for every single book, we will run out of codes, okay? So we absolutely want and require that you only register for the ones that are yours, okay? And we'll talk about how we can look and see and delete registrations that have too many or the wrong codes on there. So please only register for the ones you need. Do not register for the ones that are not your materials. You'll notice there are 3 options on code words. Code words are sort of the passwords, and it cycles randomly between the 3 so that people who log on can't memorize a single code. But they're all 3 there for that particular ISBN number for that grade. And you'll notice that these expire in 2019, which seems like it's going to be forever from now, but it's really not that many years from now. But that's how long these things last. Don't forget that at the end of video 1 is where you'll find the codes if you need them again sometime.